If we're going to go back to the 1950s on everything else, I think it's only fair that they bring back, I want to be on I suffer as a housewife. Bring back.
Question for the single people out there. I just listened to this guy talking about this is how you lock a girl in, and I want to know how many of you single women would rather have this and how many men would actually do this. So he said, take a girl on a simple date. So instead of doing like a $300 steak dinner for a first date, which I don't feel like many guys even do that anymore, but even if it's a $100 dinner or a $200 dinner or experience, whatever, do something simple like coffee and a walk or a hike, whatever. And then a couple days later, Venmo her or Cash App her like the difference of what it would have been if you would have went on that fancier date, because he said the women will appreciate this more and you'll likely move forward in the relationship faster than if you would have just gone on a normal date, because that's what everyone does. Men, would you do this? Women, would you prefer this over like an intimate dinner with a guy on a first date? Simple, and then have a surprise that comes later in cash form or a gift certificate. Go get your nails done or whatever. Which would you rather have? I'm so curious. Let me know in the comments.
Y'all really get on this app and say a whole lot of stupid stuff with a straight face.
Because I have felt guilty in the past for not wanting a nice guy and not feeling like, hey, this is what I should want. I should want this. What is wrong with you? I have felt bad about that. And I want to know, like, are we wrong for not wanting a nice guy?
Typically, women diss the nice guy.
Yeah.
He's not cool enough. He's not thug enough. He's not swag enough. Yeah, you want to know when women typically go for the nice guy? After their third baby. Later in life, when they value what he has to offer. But now you got 3 kids. Now you washed up. Everybody done been up in them sugar walls. Now you want a nice guy.
You don't do my dishes? Wow.
How you such a sweetheart?
She ain't that bad, bro. What the fuck? Get.
What you mean?
I'm not bad enough to get my dishes done?
No, look at these dishes, my nigga.
Look, don't actually, don't show the dishes. But like, look, you know, I fed people yesterday.
Great.
So like,
Awesome. Get the cleaning.
who you talking to?
I'm sorry.
It took everything in my body to not bite his dick off. We were celebrating my engagement and we were just like, woo, partying, having fun, like all got in the car with this cop. Like he's like, let me take you guys like on a joy run. So like we all get in this cop car and we spin around town. So we get out and he's like, okay, the bride's turn. And so my friends are all kind of like, go have fun, whatever. I get into the car with the cop and he stops like down the road and he puts his vest over me, like over my arms, holding them down. He pushes me into the back seat. He starts like lifting up my skirt, trying to like do things to me. All I remember was like kicking the door and the door hitting him and like trying to kick him off of me and being like, no. At one point, his hand was up there. Like he was like really trying and he was very frustrated. And in that moment, all I remember was like, oh my God, where's his gun? Somehow I got him off of me and I'm crying at that point. I get into the front seat. So he starts speeding down the road and like reaches over and grabs my head and pushes me down and starts opening his pants. And I am literally crying and being like, stop. And I just remember hearing the car like revving like so loudly. Like I don't know how fast we were going. I was literally terrified for my life. It took everything in my body to not bite his dick off because I literally was like, I don't know what he's gonna do to me. He's like, I gave you a favor, you and your friend's favor, like you have to pay me back.
You know, when you get with a guy, if he cannot financially take care of all of your bills, if he cannot keep you in labels, if he cannot get your nails and your hair done and take you on vacation, there really is no point in even being with him. And if you think like this, you're a part of my problem. That is what whores think. That is how prostitutes think. And you grown women are out here raising little bitty miniature prostitutes, talking about run them pockets, see what you can get, not thinking, how about I create myself to a financial security, create myself to a level that I can date who I want to because money is not an issue. If you're factoring money when you're getting with somebody, you know what you are? You're not a partner, you're a parasite. You're a virus.
That's pretty much the long and short of it. And I understand from a female perspective what a lot of women want, and they want financial security. That's what they want. And a lot of men understand that. That's why they're out there busting their behind to go and provide what you need. Okay, I'll go out and get the money if you can stay and take care of this. But modern women, I think I was listening to like the Kendra G show. If I can find that clip, then I'll put it here. I think she's a realtor in Georgia. She's got 2 kids, 17 and 15, talking about she doesn't want a man that works 9 to 5 and has to make $100,000. Do you know that there's dudes out there that work a 9 to 5 that make $100,000? Why do y'all alienate men for no reason? And this is what you get. Stupidity, foolishness. So like I said, men understand, okay, you want me to provide. You want me to pay the bills and all that stuff. So let me go out there, bust my behind and get what you need. But unfortunately, and apparently that's still not enough. That's still not enough. You've got to meet this certain threshold, this certain minimum. So you got to work even harder on the job. And then you got to come home and bust your behind, cooking and cleaning and doing all this stuff. But you turn that around and you have women leaving marriages for that exact same thing. So they say, oh, I'm unhappy in the marriage. Oh, I was doing everything. I was taking care of a baby. But then want to be baby themselves. I want to be in my soft girl era. I want to be my passenger princess era. What? How is it any different?
When I was 19, I dated a guy in jail for 6 months. Anyways, one day he asked me for photos, like kind of, photos. So I go to Warehouse Stationery and I print off some photos for him. And it's just like me in a bikini shot. I was young, so it wasn't like the best photos. Like it was back then, different times. But yeah, I had a little bikini on and I showed a little cleavage, a little cheek, whatever. And I sent them through. And then when I called him and I was telling him I sent them through, and he's like, I don't know if they're going to get through because the boys' missus sent photos and they scribbled out all the cleavage and cheek showing with a vivid. But then one day he called me and all the boys were screaming and he was screaming. He's like, we got the photos. They come through like without the vivid. And they were all so excited. I could hear them in the back. I was like, oh, shit, sounded like a party. Fast forward a couple months after that, he got let out. And then I asked him, I was like, oh, where's the photos? And he reckons he sold them to the bro in there.
Not gonna lie, I don't think I have to. Men kind of kill my vibe. Why can you not be my friend? Like, I want a platonic relationship with a man. This is so annoying. Should I cut it off? I want a platonic relationship with a man, but apparently I can't because I'm sorry, I'm cute, okay? That's not my problem. That's not my fault. It's so frustrating because I just met this like group of people and this guy was just like, oh, you should invite me to wherever you're going today. Sorry, sir. I really like being alone and I already signed up for this event alone. And I almost sent him the RSVP because he was just, being nice. And then he just had to take it too far. I don't want to talk. I don't understand. I don't know what to do. I'm just, can I just have a male friend for once in my life? I really just want a man who's my friend. It's so frustrating. I'm so frustrated.
Can someone explain to me, like, what happened to all the tall guys out there? And this is no hate to you short kings. Short kings, do your thing. But I get on these dating apps, and I'm 5'6", and most of the guys are, like, close to my height. I'm just confused.
I cannot believe I used to hate men. I swore off men. I said, I'll never date another man again. And now I just baked a man a heart-shaped strawberry cake just because he had a really hard week at work. Like, he is my little angel baby. I will cut every single strawberry into a heart for him if he really wanted to. Oh, I love him so bad.
And then, so just to kind of bring it back to Mozzie, we heard you came to Phoenix in a helicopter. Let's take a look at that clip.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. There goes security. Oh my God. Wow. In 4K.
Not when you landed.
In 4K.
He told him, hey, folks, just turn on the jets real quick.
All right, so I saw Uche's hand go up first. Go ahead, Uche.
This is not to disrespect you.
Oh, here we go.
Let me finish. This is not.
Okay, sorry, guys. One person at a time, please. Go
This
ahead,
is
Uche.
not to disrespect you. But what makes you believe that I should not believe that helicopter was parked and you got in, then recorded yourself getting out, and then got into the car? I thought I was going to see this thing coming from the air, then landing, and then you coming out. You do all this for what? Is it just your lifestyle? Like, that's just who you are? I'm curious.
I'm curious why you even talking to me.
Aren't we on the show? I'm asking a question. Like,
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it real, and this is no disrespect. You cannot afford to talk to me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
They're laughing and they're laughing loud. You don't have to do this, dude. Just pull up in a nice car. You can rent an Uber and come in there if you want to, bro. Don't do this.
If you're a woman who has gone through your education, you've dedicated yourself to achieving a degree, you know, your mother's generation wasn't able to achieve this, and you're the first person that's maybe gone to uni or got a bachelor's or got a master's or got a PhD, and then you spend some time in a career grinding away and you're now on 150 grand a year, you think, right, I'm 31, I'd love to settle down, this would be amazing for me. Where are all of the men at? Hang on a second. And what you realize is that not only now are you competing with all of the other increasing cohort of women that are high achievers with status, employment, and education, but you're also competing with a 21-year-old barista who still lives at home with her parents for this small cohort of guys. That requires sympathy for women, okay? That is not a good position for women to be in. At the same time, this huge cohort of sexless men, 30% of men haven't had sex in the last year. 50% of men say that they are not looking for a relationship. You are a man. You have been through your 20s. You know the power of the male sex drive between the ages of 18 and 30. Can you imagine getting yourself into a situation where you say, I'm not bothered about pursuing women? That is an unbelievably extreme statement for men to make. And they're self-identifying as this in Pew Research data. This isn't on incel forums. This is Pew Research. 50% of men aren't looking for a relationship.
When they say aren't looking for a relationship, do they mean I'm not looking for a woman or I'm not looking for commitment?
And not actively pursuing any kind of interaction with women.
Oh,
casual included.
What?
50%.
Put a finger down if you were at the bar with your boyfriend and he sees someone that he knows, so he's like, wait here, I'm gonna go say hi to them. So he walks away and you're standing with his friend who happens to be the bouncer at the bar, and you're just making small talk, chit-chatting. There's a line of people trying to get into the bar, so he's, you know, checking the IDs for the people, letting them in, blah, blah, blah. And you're wearing an open back shirt, super cute. Anyways, this guy who's waiting to get into the bar comes up, hands his ID to the friend and was like, oh, by the way, like, I like your back tattoo. And so you're like, oh, thanks. Like, that's it. That's the extent of the conversation. And then out of nowhere, your boyfriend comes running up and was like, what'd you say? What'd you say, bro? You like her back tattoo? And the dude was like, dude, chill. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I just liked her back tattoo. And your boyfriend is just not taking this like as an answer, so he starts chasing him around the bar. So you start chasing your boyfriend, who's chasing this other random dude around the bar, this packed, crowded bar. And then he chases him into the men's bathroom. So then you're standing outside of the men's bathroom and you're like, what's going on? Like, am I even allowed to go in there? And then finally they run out of the men's bathroom. So then you're chasing them out of the bar. They're now standing in front of the bar, mink, you know, throwing punches, just being crazy. And you look at the bouncer friend and you're like, dude, like, can you do something? Like, are you going to break this up? Like, what's going on? So then finally the fight gets broken up, whatever. You're walking up the street following your boyfriend. Now he's pissed at you, turns around, is like, get the away from me, blah, 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 blah. If you weren't such a whore, I wouldn't have to fight people. And then, like, just storms away. And so you're like, what the fuck? And so you call your friend and you're like, girl, like, where are you at? And she happens to be at the bar up the street. So you walk to the bar up the street and you find your friend and you're, like, explaining to her what happened. You're like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden she's like, stop talking. And I'm like, what? And she was like, he's behind you. So I turn around, this dude is standing over me like, okay. And he's like, call the phone right now. So you leave the bar, you're walking to your car, and then you notice that he's following you from a distance. And you're like, oh, maybe he's just coming home with me, right? So you get in your car, he gets into the car a few seconds after, and out of nowhere, he dumps a can of beer on you in the face, and then punches out your windshield and your passenger door and shatters them, and then proceeds to tell you that you'll never compare to his ex, who is way badder than you. And then gets out the car and storms away, and you still stayed with him for another 2.5 years.
So I had a response to this, but I didn't want to make it so long-winded. There's a few things I want to say from his perspective. If you know this woman is dressing like this, leave her alone. Your attitude is terrible. You probably need anger management. And this is a criminal act, putting your hands on other people. This is DV. So we don't want to, I think most men would say we don't want to condone this, right? That was out of pocket, following the dude around the bar. If you feel like that's the issue and you feel like she's going to continue to do stuff like this, right then and there in the club, leave her. Hey, I'm about to get up out of here. I don't like the way you're dressed. I don't like the way you're conducting yourself. You're not for me, right? And bolt off and let that be it. If you want to be a quote unquote gentleman and do right by her or whatever and whatnot, wait until y'all get home. You can be upset, angry, all that stuff. Okay, hey, listen, I got to talk to you about something. And then right then and there at the doorstep, hey, I'm going to have to let this slide. I'm going to have to let this go. And that's going to be the end of us. Just basically because I don't feel comfortable with a woman that wears this type of stuff. And whatever TikTok she's going to make, and let that be it, right? I would say to you as a young lady, maybe try to wear something more modest. This is in no way trying to blame you for what happened. This is in no way trying to say that you deserved him putting his hands on you, him dumping that drink on you, and then him saying what he said about his ex to you. You didn't deserve that. And once again, what he did was criminal activity, right? But just in the future, this is why men say they don't feel comfortable with women going out on a girls' night or whatever, or the bars and stuff like that, or girls' trips, is because they do know that things like this happen. And I know you say, well, the guy was just saying, well, I would just compliment her. I like their back tattoo, right? But this is what men feel uneasy about, is because women will dress in a certain way. And this is the response that women would typically get, right? So just, maybe keep that in mind. Once again, you didn't deserve that, but.
I had over 1,000 people in my last video telling me that my wife is cheating on me to check her phone. And I just wanted to let you all know that she was editing a video of me putting it in her pooper. That's what she was doing.
I think the bigger, more frightening issue in all of this is not that people think that men don't care about your degrees. The conversation is shifting towards a point where women are being told it's unattractive to be educated. It's unattractive to have degrees and accomplishments and a career and everything else. But little by little, they're telling us that it's not even that men don't care. It's that they will dislike you if you have those things.
No, they're probably going to dislike the attitude that you display with those degrees. Oh, I have this, I have that. I ain't settling. And the man is making more money than you have with your degree. So, yeah, the attitude behind the degree.
When my husband and I first started dating, there was this rumor going around that I tried to sue him because we fought a lot. I just want to clear the air. I tried to sue him.
I just had a meet cute in real life. So I go into Phil's to get my coffee. First person I see is this gorgeous man sitting at a table by himself, headphones in, working on a laptop, having his coffee. And I'm like, oh, he's cute. So I look at him and I have this split second where I was like, be brave. I took a breath and I looked at him like this. And I held it for 1 second longer than comfortable. So I went, And then I kept walking. And I had another moment where, you know, when you freak out when you see a cute guy and you're like, don't look at them, don't pay attention. Just, I don't know why we do that, because it's the opposite of what we need to do in order to get approached. So I was like, take a breath. Who cares if this doesn't work out? It'll be over and you walk out of this coffee shop and you can go on with your life. So I take a breath and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I did my move that has 100% success rate if they're available and interested. I turn and I smile and I go like this. And I mouth the word hi. This man immediately mouths the word hi back to me. And I just smile and then I turned around. I'm standing by the bar where you pick up the coffee. And right next to me is this water pitcher thing to fill water up. This man leaves his table, takes out his ear things, goes to fill up his water, which is right behind me and I'm not facing him. The last thing I need to do is make myself open and available to start conversation, dropping the handkerchief. I just turn and I look at him and he just starts conversation. He's like, hi, you have a beautiful smile. And I was like, you have a great smile too. And he immediately goes, let me get your number. And it was that easy. He takes my number, immediately calls me. I pull out my phone just to make sure it goes through. So we're going to call him Phil's Man, Coffee Man, and I'll let you know how it goes and how it develops.
He just told me one of his hoe stories. So what do I do with that? Other than throw up. Other than throw the He just told me one of his hoe stories. So what do I do with that? Other than throw up. Other than throw the
You know what I need to know? Where are the men that'll just carry it? Just fucking carry it! Because I didn't want to wear a jacket because I didn't want to carry it. You're making me bring one. I'm probably not going to wear it. I don't want to carry it around. I'm going to lose it. You're going to get mad. Just carry it! Carry the jacket.
And finally, we have Exhibit D and Exhibit E. Don't scroll yet. I got way more evidence this time. And let me just remind you, this is the rapper that's suing Lyft because she got a Lyft driver fired because he would not let her into his small Mercedes when he was just trying to protect her. You see, I did my research on the width of doors. You see, I had to whip out the facts. The Suburban door is 40 to 42 inches. And since y'all can't decide, since it was a Mercedes C-Class or E-Class, it would have been between 30 and 34 inches. So again, I ask you, how? Oh, but I did more research. Come to find out, the weight limit to Mercedes chairs are 300 to 400 pounds. Exceeding this would compromise the structure of the integrity of the chair, would increase risk of the seat breaking or collapsing, and would affect the handling of the vehicle because of the unevenly distributed weight. It states that a seatbelt in a Mercedes would not be able to securely hold a 500-pound individual, stating that they would need a seatbelt extender, and that if they were to get in an accident, that person would literally be ejected out of the vehicle due to it not being safe enough for them, for the size at least. It says that you would not even be able to comfortably sit in said vehicle because it would be too much of a tight fit, and the belt would not even be able to properly go on you due to the positioning of how you would be in the back of that car. So again, he lost his job for no reason. He was trying to protect you and him because his vehicle would not have been safe enough for you. Every vehicle that you have been in, all these Suburbans, these double XLs are safe for you because they can accommodate your figure. So from car makers and AI itself, a C-Class or E-Class would be highly dangerous for you. And he was protecting you by not allowing you in that vehicle. It was never discrimination. He never disrespected you. He never spoke ill on you. He just stated that his vehicle would not be appropriate, that he would got you a vehicle like this, which would have been appropriate. 3 cheers for Freak the Lawyer. If y'all mess with me, y'all know where to support me at. Come on now.
Might get mad at me, but I don't care. She knew fast she couldn't get in that back seat. I can't stand when us big folks try to do skinny shit. You knew you needed a Maho, an escalator or something, bitch. Why the fuck trying to get in that little Civic and shit, Honda Sonata, whatever the fuck was? Listen, don't piss me off.
So you guys have a proposal?
So, we were talking, and we both came to this idea. I don't know where it originally came from, but
We thought we'd bring it to you
Bring it
and
to the
really
board.
figure out how we can get this in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Macaroni salad. The fridge is just stocked with macaroni. Like anytime anybody would ever want, like they could just go to the fridge and they can have it. They don't have to wait. They don't have to ask permission. It's just in there. And it's always in there. And it's like a big tub, like a tub of macaroni salad. And we could even freeze some.
Back in 2021, I was dating this girl, and I posted a thirst trap on my story, and she texted me asking how many girls slid in your DMs from that story, and I told her none. She didn't believe me, so she asked me for a screenshot. I sent her one, and she saw that I was telling the truth. And she said, some competing for a spot that nobody wants, and then she ghosted me. That's Exhibit A. Exhibit B, last year I was dating this girl, and we were still in the talking stage, and she asked me if I still had Hinge. I said, yeah. She said, nah, pull it up. And I did. She saw that I had a lot of matches and people that liked me, and she made me delete it. Cool. 2 days later, she ghosted me. Now, Exhibit C. This was earlier this year. I wanted to focus on this person, so I deleted Hinge in front of her. Then I get ghosted the next day. You can't win, bro. I feel like if they know that you don't have any other options, they leave. And if you do have other options, they get mad. I don't know, bro.
I mean, it's a simple remedy for that. Go ahead and re-download it, period. Like if we're exclusive, I mean, the matches, my account's still going to be active until we do something else. My account's still going to be active. So you decide to act silly, then I'm going to find somebody else. And even if you don't break it off, and I feel like there's nothing going on after one conversation, maybe two, maybe three, then I'm going back to what I will, and I'll tell you exactly why I think it's not going to work and move on to the next. Period.
Recently divorced. I'm dating someone that I really am serious about.
Did you meet them?
I met her 20 years ago, actually. Fell in love, was married, couldn't do anything, and then got divorced, and 20 years later called her up.
Why did you marry your wife then?
I was already married to her.
You fell in love during your marriage.
Oh, yeah. 10 years in.
And you stayed to be committed to your wife.
So I stayed with my wife and my kids until they were grown.
She's a 32-year-old spinster and started going to the gym in the evening, and this is what I have figured out, and I'm giving you this nugget of information, and you can thank me at the end of this video. The men there are very attractive. I am not going to the gym to look for a date. I'm literally going to the gym because I'm fully bored, okay? So I'm going to the gym. I'm lifting heavier now. I'm lifting longer. I'm getting better workouts as opposed to working out in the morning when the cardio queens are there, which is fine. I'm just not a cardio queen. I'm a weight girly. So I'm going in the evening. Men are attractive. There's like 3 influencers that are in the gym when I'm there. And I'm like, don't look at me. I am a thumb. I'm fully a thumb. However, I leave the gym. I make a full-blown dinner that is like healthy after the gym. I take a shower. I'm like calm. I do a castor oil pack. I'm like, wow, she is wholesome. Wholesome. What am I doing tonight? Exactly that. And guess what today is? Friday. I need a social life, but it's fine. I'm fit.
So I guess I'm going to address the elephant in the room. A lot of people may cancel me after this, but I've had several people reach out to me asking, hey, Alexis, like, are you going to speak on this? Are you going to address this? Are you going to ignore it? What's the case? And I really didn't want to bring it to social media because I feel like some things are just meant to be private. But unfortunately, that's kind of what comes when you put yourself on the internet, is that people do expect an explanation from you. And I never want anybody to misconstrue what I say or take it out of context and say something that I didn't say. So after careful consideration and talking to my husband, I decided that it was best for me to go ahead and speak on it. There's 2 things that I have to address here, and I don't really know which one I want to do first, because either way it goes, people are going to be mad at me, and either way it goes, people are going to try to cancel me. But I got to put my big girl britches on and own up to what I've said, and hopefully the ones who love me will continue to love me, and to the ones that I've let down, I'm sorry. But the 2 things that I needed to address, number 1, if you're a wife, you should be in the kitchen making that man a sandwich. And number 2, my shirt was a great reminder that I needed to let y'all know that tattoos are in fact trashy. So if you have them, I do feel like your children should be taken away from you, and I think that you should probably make better choices in life. So if this offended anyone, I'm sorry. But I officially feel better. I feel like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulder. And now I'll just direct people to this video from the messages that I've been receiving. Love you all. Bye.
So you come on this app to play. Girl, log off.
You are 5'2". What do you even need a man that's over 6'4" anyway? Now let's talk about it, because that's why that man got on that podcast and said that he's a top tier, high value man because he's 6'5" and makes over $100,000 a year. It's time to start dating outside of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone has gotten you nowhere. It's time for us to start emphasizing the things that actually matter, like his moral compass, who he comes from, where he comes from, the type of men that he has in his life and how they treat the women in his life. You need to see if he has a provider mentality. What's his career path looking like? Is he ambitious? Is he driven? Y'all have emphasized the wrong stuff so much that now these men think that all they have to be is 6'5" and make over $100,000 a year to be a top tier man. And that's nobody's fault but yours. You can't get on here and keep complaining about the dating pool being terrible when you've only dated within this one marginalized group of men.
It's time to start emphasizing a moral compass. What happened when men was telling y'all that and y'all was bashing men for saying, nope, he needs to be a man that makes $100K, 6'5"? That's what men been saying. Y'all been saying they dead wrong, they lying. But now y'all need to emphasize a moral compass. Well, welcome to the party.